Near it, I can't hear me. Diary entry 1, January 14th. Narration. I didn't plan on moving into Grandma's house. It was a last resort. The rent in the city bled me dry. And when my job cut my hours, I had to face the truth. I couldn't keep pretending I was fine. So I packed my life into the back of my beat-up Honda and drove out here. Back to the crooked little house that always smelled faintly of lavender and dust, where every door groaned like it had lungs. The place hadn't been touched since she died. No one wanted it, and I understood why the second I stepped inside. The house felt unsettled. Not abandoned, not dead, but unsettled, like a mouth half open, holding its breath. That first night, I barely slept. Every creak of the floorboards upstairs convinced me someone else was walking around. At one point, I swore I heard the sound of water running, faint, like a shower behind a closed door. But when I checked, the pipes were bone dry. It was the following morning, while unpacking, that I found it. Grandma's diary. It wasn't tucked away in some attic box or hidden deep in a drawer. No, it was sitting neatly on the nightstand in the bedroom she used to sleep in. A leather-bound book, strap frayed, edges curled with age, almost like it had been left there waiting. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did. The first entry was dated March 3rd, 1974. The house is restless again tonight. The walls knock like they're trying to speak, and I heard the pipes breathing while I took my bath. I know he's watching me from the glass. I felt the taps on the shower door. I almost opened my eyes this time. I froze when I read that, because I hadn't told anyone, not even my mom, about the sound of water I'd heard my first night here. And yet, here it was, written down nearly 50 years ago. Diary entry 2, January 15th. I read more of the diary this morning. The handwriting is tight and slanted. The kind of script that makes you lean closer, as if the words themselves don't want to be heard. Grandma wrote about noises in the walls, tapping sounds, faint at first, then louder. She said the pipes breathed at night, a phrase that stuck in my head. She claimed she could hear water running when the taps were off, like someone was filling a bath she never drew. I set the book down and tried not to think about it. Old house, old pipes, makes sense. Except that evening, while I was brushing my teeth, I heard it, the sound of water. At first, it was a trickle, far away, maybe downstairs. Then it grew louder, steady, like a shower turned full blast. I opened the bathroom door and leaned over the railing. The air smelled faintly of steam and metal, but every tap in the house was dry. The sound stopped the moment I called out, just cut off, like someone turned a handle. I laughed it off. A nervous little sound to convince myself I wasn't already losing it. But later, lying in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about Grandma's words in that diary. The way she wrote that if she closed her eyes too long under running water, she could feel something standing on the other side of the glass. I left the bathroom light on all night. Entry 3, January 17th. I skipped a day of writing because I didn't sleep. The house feels heavier at night. Every sound presses in closer, like it's waiting for me to acknowledge it. I kept the diary shut, but it sat on the nightstand anyway, angled toward me like it wanted to be read. Around 3 in the morning, I heard it again. The shower, not faint this time, clear, constant. I forced myself down the hallway. The bathroom door was shut, Steam leaked out through the gap at the bottom, curling into the dark. But when I pushed the door open, the room was empty, bone dry, the mirror cold to the touch. I checked every pipe in the house afterward, crawling under the sink, rattling the rusty knobs. Nothing. Back in bed, heart still pounding, I tried to calm down. That's when I noticed it. The diary. The strap was undone, pages splayed open. I know I left it closed. The entry on that page was short, just one line written in hurried, crooked letters. I think he followed me out of the bathroom this time.
Diary entry 4.
January 18th. Erase. I finally gave in and read more of the diary. The entries shift back and forth, some ordinary, some not. She wrote about tea with neighbors, knitting projects, little notes about my mom when she was a child. But in between, the handwriting changes, slanted, jittery, like she was writing with her hand shaking. She wrote that the bathroom was the weak point, that the glass in the shower wasn't just a surface. It was like a window. She claimed something pressed against it while she bathed. At first, just foggy shapes, shadows, but then fingers. Ooh. She said she kept her eyes open because the moment she shut them for too long, she could hear it moving, tapping the glass, testing it. Eerie. Reading those words made my skin crawl, because last night I swear I heard tapping myself. Not loud, not constant. Just 3 soft, deliberate knocks while I brushed my teeth. I searched the house again, every room, every locked window. But the sound hadn't come from the windows. It had come from the bathroom. Uri. And this morning, when I stepped into the shower for the first time since moving here, the glass door was streaked with long, wet finger marks, too high for me to have left them. Erase. Grandma wrote that she fought back, that if she kept the diary, it would hold him off, like writing his presence down kept it from swallowing her whole. That's the first time she mentioned a name, not a real one, just a whisper scratched into the corner of the page. Mr. Longfingers. My hands are trembling as I write this, because I remember her telling me that story when I was a kid. I thought she made it up to scare me, but she didn't.
Diary entry 5.
January 20th.
I tried to leave last night, packed a bag, threw it in the car, but the engine wouldn't over. Not even a cough. It ran fine last week. Now it's dead. I sat there in the driver's seat with the keys still in my hand, staring back at the house through the windshield. And I swear, the upstairs bathroom light was on. It flickered once, then went dark. I couldn't make myself go back inside for an hour, but the air was too cold. And finally I did. That's when I noticed the diary. It had fallen open again, face down on the carpet. The entry was from late in Grandma's life. Her handwriting was jagged, almost desperate. She wrote that she couldn't sleep, that every night the shower turned on by itself, that she heard his breathing just on the other side of the glass. And then one line that made me slam the book shut. He wants me to close my eyes. I thought about the night she died. The official story was that her heart gave out. But I was the one who found her, slumped in the shower, water still running. My parents always told me I was too young to understand, but maybe I did. Maybe I always knew she didn't just die. I left the diary on the table and tried to sleep on the couch.
Around 3 a.m., the pipes groaned awake, and the steady rush of water filled the house. This time, I didn't even check the bathroom, because I could hear it clearer than ever. The sound of knuckles tapping glass. Diary entry 6, January 22nd. I've noticed something new. The diary doesn't stay where I leave it anymore. Last night, I placed it on the kitchen counter before bed. This morning, it was on the nightstand again, strap undone. The pages parted like a mouth caught mid-sentence. The entry it had opened to was dated just a week before Grandma died. She wrote that she couldn't trust mirrors anymore, that sometimes her reflection lagged behind, or worse, smile when she didn't. I read that, and my stomach turned cold, because while shaving yesterday, I caught a flicker of movement in the bathroom mirror. I froze, razor in hand, foam sliding down my neck. For a moment, my reflection wasn't mine. The face had the same features, but the eyes were pale, almost white, and the mouth hung open wider than it should have, like it was waiting to breathe me in. I blinked hard, and it snapped back. Just me, just my tired, terrified face. But there was one more line in Grandma's entry, a warning scrawled at the bottom. Don't look too long. He only needs your eyes closed, or your eyes locked. I threw a towel over the mirror and haven't uncovered it since. But I can still feel the glass humming behind the cloth, like something's waiting on the other side. Diary entry 7, January 24th. Veteran 7. I woke last night to the sound of dripping water. Not the rush of pipes this time, no. This was slower, steady, like droplets falling one by one onto tile. I told myself it was just a leak. Old houses have leaks, but the smell in the air told me otherwise. Damp, metallic, like rust and whetstone. I followed the sound down the hallway, every step feeling heavier than the last. The bathroom door was open just a crack, steam coiling out into the dark. I nudged it wider, careful, and for a second I thought maybe the room was empty. But then I saw it. Through the fogged shower glass, a shape. Tall, lean, shoulders bent forward as if it had been standing there too long. The glass dripped with condensation, but I could make out one hand pressed flat against it. Fingers far too long, dragging slow trails down the pane. I blinked hard, and the shape was gone. The glass bare, the tiles dry, Natter knew free as 7. I stumbled back into the hall, hard hammering, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it. But when I finally forced myself to return to my room, the diary was waiting for me, open again. The entry read, "He doesn't always stay in the bathroom anymore." Diary entry 8, January 26th. I stopped finding it. The diary wants me to read, and the house wants me to listen. Pretending otherwise just makes it worse. Grandma's later entries are frantic, her words spilling across the page without order. She wrote that he moved closer each night, that sometimes she caught him in her peripheral vision, in doorways, at the edge of mirrors, or reflected faintly in the television when it was off.
read those words by lamplight, and then I saw it too. At first, I thought it was just the shadow of the curtain swaying, but then it leaned, too deliberate, too human. A figure at the edge of my room. Tall, shoulders hunched forward, fingers grazing the wall as if it was testing the boundary between us. I couldn't see his face, only the pale gleam of skin stretched too tight. But the hand, God, the hand reached almost to the floor, long fingers twitching slow, like they were listening for me. I shut my eyes, tight. I thought maybe that would make him vanish, but in the dark behind my eyelids, I heard it, the faint, rhythmic tap of knuckles on glass, as though the world itself had turned into a bathroom and he was pressing against the walls of it, waiting. When I opened my eyes, he was gone, but the diary lay open across my chest. The entry said, "He watches when you sleep. He waits when you wake. You'll never leave until you take my place." And for the first time, I understood. Grandma hadn't just died in that shower. She'd been keeping him busy, keeping him from me. Diary entry 9, January 29th. I don't know what day it really is anymore. The clocks keep resetting, sometimes forward, sometimes back. I'll stare at the second hand, and it will stop, then skip, then spin wildly before catching up. The diary says things I don't remember reading, whole passages written in my own handwriting, words I don't remember putting down. Last night I woke up in the hallway. My feet were wet, dripping onto the floorboards. The bathroom light glared down at me. No, I swear I hadn't turned it on. The shower was running full blast, steam curling like smoke. I should have turned and fled, but something pulled me in. Inside, I saw her. Grandma. She was standing in the shower, hair plastered to her face, water running down her frail body. Her eyes found mine through the glass. Those deep blue eyes I remembered from childhood, but clouded now, hollow. Her lips moved soundlessly, a warning. And then, behind her, something stretched tall, pale, and thin. A hand unfurled against the glass, fingers impossibly long, curling like hooks around her shoulders. I blinked, and she was gone. The shower empty, but the wet footprints on the tile were still there, and when I looked down at myself, so were mine. The diary was waiting on the sink, open to a fresh page. The ink was wet, the words were mine. It was her, but not her. She's still inside him, waiting. Diary entry 10, February 1st. I finally understand. The diary isn't just a record. It's a trap, a chain. Every word she wrote bound her to this thing, and every word I've written binds me too. He isn't haunting the house. The house is his mouth, and we are what it swallows. Grandma tried to warn me, tried to keep me safe, but she couldn't escape either. When she died in that shower, it wasn't her heart that failed. It was the end of her time. Her soul was drawn into him, absorbed, stitched into that body of pale skin and long, grasping fingers. That's why I saw her last night. She's still in there, trapped behind the glass. It's clearer now. The cycle is simple. He waits until you're weak,
until the water lulls you, or the dark behind your eyelids tricks you, and when your eyes are closed too long, when your mind slips, he takes you. Not just your body, your soul, and your soul becomes part of him, stretching him longer, hungrier, less human with every stolen life. That's why his fingers are so long. Each one of them used to be someone. My grandmother's among them. I felt it when I saw her eyes. Not hatred, not fear, just the emptiness of someone who knows the truth. There's no getting out once you're taken. The diary's pages are almost full now. My handwriting and hers are blurring together, like our voices are already overlapping. I hear tapping, even when the house is silent. I see hands on the glass when I walk past dark windows. And when I stand in front of the mirror, my reflection no longer waits for me. It leans forward, smiles, tilts its head like it's listening. I don't think I have many nights left. That's the real curse. Not death, but inheritance. You don't escape him, you become him. Your soul threads into his body, your memories, your voice, your fears, all twisted into the thing that waits on the other side of the glass. That's why he lingers near children. Why Grandma told me stories when I was small. Not just to scare me, but to prepare me, to make me last longer when my turn finally came, and now it has. When you hear tapping on your bathroom glass, when the pipes breathe, when the shower runs, though no one is inside, it isn't a ghost in your house. It's someone's grandmother, someone's father, someone's son. It's all of us strung together in that pale husk with the long, curling fingers. And soon, it will be me. When you hear me tapping, don't open your eyes, because if you do, you'll see what's left of me, waiting inside the glass. And I'll be smiling